So, what is happiness exactly? Well, it's a bit hard to say because it's such an abstract idea, right? But we know that our happiness has a lot to do with our brain and our happiness hormones, so to speak. And we also know that these hormones helped us along the way on our evolutionary process, and they still do. How? By helping us stay alive and run away from predators, even when we got injured. By helping us complete complex and even difficult tasks for the reward of accomplishment we feel once they are done. And helping us in childbirth and bonding with our young and others. Now, we cannot expect a constant flow of these happy hormones, so to speak, because this is just not how the process works. But one thing is for sure that we all want these happy hormones, our feel good hormones, to work for us in perfect harmony. Welcome to Mindfulness Alchemy for the Modern Soul. Thank you for being here with me today. My name is Esther Village. I'm your host, and I'm your designated spiritual life, therapeutic art life, and trauma informed coach. And in today's recording, I would like to talk to you about happiness and our feel good hormones and a concept called dopamine menu. And so, if this is your vibe, please stick around. And thank you for viewing, liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you for helping the channel grow, and thank you for helping this recording by the algorithm so it can get to as many people as possible who would enjoy it just as much as you do. I really appreciate it, so keep it coming. So, this is what Harvard Health Publishing says about our feel good hormones and how they affect our mood and mental health. Let me read this to you. So, hormones are your body's chemical messengers. Once released by glands into your bloodstream, they act on various organs and tissues to control everything, from the way your body functions to how you feel. One group of hormones are nicknamed the feel good hormones because of the happy and sometimes euphoric feelings they produce. They are also considered neurotransmitters, which means they carry messages across the space between nerve cells. Clever, right? So, what are the names of these feel good hormones, you may ask? Well, their names are dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, and oxytocin. And before we talk about this so called dopamine menu, let's talk about our feel good hormones in a little detail, shall we? And let's begin with serotonin. Now, serotonin is our natural mood booster, if you will. It is said to be responsible for our feeling of euphoria, and it can even keep depression and low mood at bay. Sounds powerful, right? So, when we feel happy and we feel that everything seems to be going well for us, we are on a serotonin ride. Serotonin is produced in our brainstem. That is where our spinal cord connects to our brain, and it affects some pretty important bodily functions, behaviors, and moods, including memory, our stress response and regulation, digestion, and sleep, just to name a few. Now, low serotonin levels are linked to low mood, feeling down for no apparent reason, depression, and even the seasonal affective disorder or SAD that you might know as winter blues, among other things. Luckily, we can boost our serotonin levels quite easily by getting a good workout, by getting some sun while being sun safe, of course, or even getting some light therapy in the colder months. Some say that certain dietary choices and supplementation can also help us boost our serotonin levels. And by all means, please do some research on this topic at your own pleasure. Also, it is important to know that our happy hormones work together with each other, with other brain chemicals, neurotransmitters, amino acids, and so on, as our brain processes are quite complex and even enigmatic at times. Now, the next thing we can have a look at is endorphins. So let's talk about our endorphins for a moment. Endorphins are also known as our brain's natural pain and stress relievers. Endorphins are a special group of peptide hormones released by the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland as a response to signals of pain or stress, and they go to work to relieve our pain and give us a general feeling of well being. Good news that the easiest and quickest way to increase our endorphins is to have a good laugh. But we can also go for a good walk, a good run, a swim, put some music on and have a little dance. We can do some stretching and breathing, and even some sunlight or light therapy can be really beneficial for us. Now, the next one on our list is oxytocin, as we also know it, the love hormone. It plays an important role in our bonding with loved ones, including our pets too, yes, and it is released through touch and physical contact. Oxytocin is produced in the hypothalamus and released into the bloodstream by the pituitary gland. It plays a huge role in childbirthing, lactating, and bonding with our young ones. But not just women, also men also produce oxytocin. And it also plays a huge role in our romantic relationships, in our sexual expression, and in the process of falling in love. Hence the name love hormone. Now, when it comes to our mental health and well being, oxytocin has an important role in decreasing our stress and anxiety levels, as well as having a positive effect on our social behavior and belonging. And the simple way we can give our oxytocin production a boost is by giving a hug to someone we love. And of course, there are other ways. For example, engaging in a high intensity workout, or in contact sports, or getting a massage, and even by joining a choir and belting out some tunes and bonding with our fellow singers. It's a lovely way. Now, let's take a look at dopamine next. Dopamine is our reward hormone, and it helps us feel pleasure as part of our brain's reward system. So, our favorite feel good hormone is also responsible for the reinforcement process. And that is one of the reasons why, when we get pleasure out of an activity, we come back for more. And this is important because there is a good and there is a dark side to this fact. And in a minute, we'll discuss the concept of the dopamine menu, which is basically a helpful tool for us to do life affirming, positive, and well being promoting activities that gives us pleasure and joy, and they benefit our mental, physical, and emotional well being. But the dark side of this reinforcement process is addictive behavior and even addiction. We go back to doing more of what gives us pleasure, basically. And if we don't or we can't develop good dopamine enhancing behaviors and habits, we might adopt unhealthy coping mechanisms to get pleasure and a sense of release or joy. Essentially, we do whatever it takes to get that dopamine rush. So, with all that said, now we understand just how important it is to think about how we get our dopamine rush. And building our dopamine menu is a wonderful way to make sure that we develop good habits that support our mental health, our physical and emotional well being. So let's talk about this dopamine menu. Now, a dopamine menu is a carefully curated and personalized list of things and activities that are pleasurable and preferably healthy, that naturally boost our dopamine levels, therefore, our happiness, well being, and even our motivation and focus. It gives us a sustainable, no nonsense, actionable plan that we can use and reach for to prioritize our mental health and overall well being. Now, this concept, the dopamine menu, comes from Jessica McCabe, the author of How to ADHD, An Insider's Guide to Working with Your Brain, Not Against It. And originally, the idea behind it was to help people with ADHD get the stimulation their brains need to get more dopamine. And this is a fantastic approach and a fantastic modality, in my opinion. And it can benefit many people, not just those living with ADHD. So, a dopamine menu, in essence, is like a menu in a restaurant or cafe, and it is divided into sections or categories to provide a well thought out structure of activities for different scenarios. These activities fall in one category, for example, appetizers, main, side, desserts, and specials. So let's take a look at each category and see what they represent and what activities we can find in each. And let's begin with the appetizers or starters. This part of the dopamine menu contains quick and easily accessible ways to produce dopamine. They are not time consuming activities and can be utilized anytime during the day for a quick dopamine hit. Reach for appetizers if you only have a couple of minutes, a few minutes, 5 minutes or less. And you take a quick break during the day while you engage in these activities. Think of things like breathing deeply for a few minutes and stretching your body, or making a cup of tea, or coffee, or hot chocolate, or even a quick smoothie. Listening to a happy song and dancing a little. Doing a couple of push ups, or sit ups, or jumping jacks to get your body moving, cuddling your pet, watering your plants, putting on a quick face mask, painting your nails, brushing your hair, drinking some water, standing out in the sun for a few minutes and breathing some fresh air in, adding a few rows to the scarf you've been knitting, grabbing your mindfulness art journal and doodling or coloring in for a couple of minutes, or even looking at pictures on your phone of your loved ones that make you smile. Pretty straightforward, right? Now, the main course takes longer than the appetizer activities. It may need some preparation, planning, and establishing a good routine that allows you to enjoy them. On this list, you will have activities that take an hour or longer. Think of things like going for a good walk, or taking a hike, or riding your bike, hitting the gym or the pool or the sauna, taking a fabulous yoga class, cooking a fantastic meal and enjoying it with or without company, watching a movie that you are fully engaged in, putting on your favorite album and listening to it all the way, singing and dancing to your favorite tracks, getting your hair or nails done at the salon, A pampering session at the spa, giving yourself a full home spa experience, taking an everything shower, reorganizing your wardrobe and putting some new outfits together, going out with friends for coffee and cake or a good meal, visiting a museum, a gallery, and admiring art, a night at the comedy club, the theater, a musical performance, reading a book or taking a short course, renovating furniture, knitting, pottery, revamping your living room or bedroom or kitchen, creating a vision board as a mindfulness art activity. These are just examples, but you get what I'm saying, right? Now, here we arrive at the sides, and I can see how this modality can really help ADHDers get focused and get on with it. Because sites are meant to be activities that give us a pleasurable experience while we are completing tasks that are simply just part of life and have to be done. For example, you have to clean your house good and proper. And you decide to choose your favorite podcast to listen to as a side to help you find something enjoyable while doing something boring but necessary. Or you choose to listen to an audiobook, for example, or music. Because simply changing the bed linen and scrubbing the toilet and reorganizing the pantry isn't much fun, but it needs to be done. And while you're choosing a lovely side with it, then it might even help you get more focused and enjoy the task at hand. Or think of driving to the grocery store, but calling a friend or someone who uplifts you while you're driving, someone whose voice just cheers you up. Always hands free when we are driving, right? Or let's say lighting an incense or a candle to create a little tranquility while we are working on a report or a document, or even playing with a toy while we are reading through some text. You get what sides are, right? It's pretty simple. I had a history teacher who confessed that she loved listening to AC/DC while cleaning her windows because it is a miserable task and some good old rock and roll just made it all better. Who could blame her, right? Now, here comes the desserts, the yummy, delicious desserts. They are things that we enjoy in moderation on occasions, knowing that we use our dopamine menu wisely. We go to our appetizers when we have only a little time. Then we use our mains when we have an hour or more. And we utilize our sides well too in order for us to be mindful with our dopamine mining, right? So you can treat yourself with some time on social media, playing video games, online shopping, even binge watching a good show, reading an entire book, eating some sweet treats or snacking a little, getting a takeout dinner, enjoying a few drinks with friends, and so on. Just remember that dessert items are to be enjoyed as sweet treats, as sweet rewards, and only in a responsible way and, of course, in moderation. And then, as a last thing on our menu, are specials. Now, specials are not something that we do daily or weekly or even monthly. Specials might be things that we do once a year or once every couple of years. These things can be big and impactful. They might take a lot of preparation and they might be expensive. Things like going to an event, booking a lovely hotel room in the city and getting room service, or taking a holiday, or a big shopping spree and a personal style update, or going to a spa and getting a nice pampering package, or purchasing something that is of your dreams, that fancy hot pink electric mixer with a hand painted details on it, or that amazing toolkit that would be sufficient enough to break out of Alcatraz. But, jokes aside, you get what I'm saying. So remember that when you create your dopamine menu, start by writing down things that bring you joy, that make you happy, things that are on the healthy side, on the making good choices side, that are mindful and cutesy and demure, right? Put them in the above mentioned categories. So, appetizers, because you only have 5 minutes. Mains, because you need some quality time, quality activities, perhaps with some quality people. Sides, because why not make things easier, better, and more enjoyable? While we complete tasks that we don't enjoy doing, but we like it when they are done. Desserts every now and then because we are mindful, and it is okay to treat ourselves sometimes. And last but not least, specials, because specials have a special place in our lives. And why do we do this? Well, we do this because we make good choices when it comes to our mental health, our physical health, our emotional health, and our well being. Because this is a powerful and empowering way to take care of our happiness in a way that allows us to live hopefully long, happy, and healthy lives. Because doom scrolling is terrible and we know better. Because we care about how we how we feed our mind and our body and our soul, and because dopamine is a wonderful chemical that that we want that we want a nice steady supply of in a way that is beneficial for us. And remember, if you choose to work with a dopamine menu, remember that it can take up to 21 days for a person to develop a new habit. And the choice is, of course, as always, totally yours. But in my opinion and in my experience, a well put together dopamine menu can be life changing in a really, really positive way. So I hope you found today's recording empowering, maybe even educational. And if so, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll leave you with all of this for now, but I hope to see you next time.